Hey, my name is Mikkel, and I am in theater.
Hi, my name is Ashish Thakur, and I am also an actor here at the company.
Same.
Hey, my name's Erica Copeland, and I act here as well.
My name's Anai Thompson, and I mostly act, but I also love to spend my time in the tech departments.
So today we're just going to be talking to you about kind of the unwritten rules and what it means to be an actor here at the company.
We do have like a specific theater makeup brand called Ben Nye, and it's just a little kit that all actors are required to get. You get this at a downtown, or I guess uptown shop near ISU.
Alamo too.
Alamo 2. And they have different skin tone ranges, but that is required before you like go on stage because it's a theater qualified quality makeup set.
And they last you for a while.
Like having your lines done by the time you they're scheduled to be done. So like last year we had a few mishaps with lines like where they weren't even memorized until tech week even, and it was just really messy and it was upsetting to the directors, to the actors that were on stage for those scenes. So like if you're going to sign on to be an actor, if you're going to audition, if you're going to go through all the steps, make sure that you also are fulfilling your part and knowing what you're saying on stage.
And adding on to that, something that Vern will always say is that you cannot act until you're memorized. Because if you're not memorized, you're giving too much of your focus into trying to remember like what your lines are, and it takes away from the emotion that you can have with whoever your character is. So it's definitely like you need to memorize before you can have even a decent performance on stage.
Yeah, and exactly alongside what they were saying, as an actor, I think it's important that you like study your character and study your script. And it's not like you just like memorize to memorize, but like you have to actually know what your everything has a purpose, you know. So like studying it and doing your homework is super important as an actor.
Yeah, and you can write down your lines, or you could walk through it with someone that you know, a family member. Any way that will, help you memorize it best is up to you.
It's really important to know your blocking, know other people's blocking, like to be aware, and that's why we're not supposed to have our phones when we're backstage watching a rehearsal. If you're like in that scene, you need to know what other people are doing, and being aware of your surroundings will really help you memorize as well. And don't deviate from the blocking if you get excited, because that can lead to dangerous situations, and it can just make everyone else look like an idiot up on stage during an actual show.
And if you're understudying, which can happen all the time, even if you have a lead role, understudying is super important. Knowing the person that you're understudying's lines is really important, because you never know when they can't be there. So it's really important to be on top of because that's what your job is as an actor, is to make sure you're on top of it. And when you step on the stage, you know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say, adding on to that, not only knowing your lines, your understudy lines, know the show as a whole, because there are gonna be times where, they're gonna freak out a bit, and then, they're gonna forget their line. You can't just leave that gap there in the show, because there's this type of continuity that goes on between the audience and the actors themselves. And so you break that space, and then nobody's in the moment anymore. So being able to pick up on those cue lines and fill in the spaces if any spaces are present is definitely something that's very, very important to a show.
Yeah, that's another thing with studying the script. You got to understand what you're saying and what is the overall context of the situation. So studying the script and knowing what the story is about or what it's conveying can help you a lot.
And you have to understand that you have to work with your tech, because without a tech, you don't really have much of a show. You can be the best actors on there, but if you're doing it all in the dark, that's not really much of a show. So respecting your tech is something that's extremely important as a part of Tech Week also, and just a part of the show in the theater as a whole in general.
Another thing is with the props, don't touch other people's props, or don't use them when you don't need to be, and really only use them for the purpose of the play, because that can just mix everything up and it could potentially ruin a lot of stuff.
And check your props before going on stage, because if you get to the point where you're 3 lines before you're supposed to be on, and you realize that you don't have your sword for the dragon fight, you're kind of just you can't mime that. That's not something that can just be acted out in that sense. So definitely check your props before getting on stage.
Before shows, we do pre-show rituals, And we're not going to really describe them right now because they're really fun to do for your first time when you're witnessing. And also, it's just like a very special event.
And a lot of most of our warm-ups will happen in the green room once we get towards the show. So it's something where it's like what happens in the green room, like stays in the green room. That's something where, you know, a lot of emotion can go on there. But those are things that need to stay in there because that's a very intimate type thing. Currently president of our drama club, and then Ashish is vice president. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Our meetings take place every first Tuesday of every month, unless it's some sort of special holiday like Election Day. We had to move it. But we always put out our announcements on our Google Classroom page, and that's just a chance for us to really just get to come together with each other and talk about what's going on for the coming months, what happened in the past month, what's happening for the rest of the year. Dues is something that you have to pay. It's $10, and so that's how you get a certificate at the end. It's like mock awards type thing. So that's how you earn that. And then that also gives you access into our banquet at the end of the year. Which is just a time we eat some good food, and we just get to like reflect on who we've been for the past year.
There's also work days that we have usually like once a week towards the end of production or halfway through, and it's just a way to start building the set and stage and get a bigger idea of tech and what that is. And yeah, it's a good opportunity to get more involved.
And I think also just have fun. I think that's super
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, I'm like, we're saying everything's like very, very serious.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
it is, but like, also have fun within
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
program. Like, we're not, you know,
Yeah,
super
don't
stuck
have
up
the-
about anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Be friendly.
Literally, all the rehearsals are fun. You know, putting on a show is so much fun, especially as an actor. Like,
And
you get
tech.
and tech,
Yeah.
and tech.
Tech
But,
is
like,
great.
acting wise, like it's a lot of fun. You
Yeah,
know,
you'll definitely make like a lot of friends. You'll have temporary enemies.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back together and you'll realize, you know, the love that you have for each other. Because it truly is a big family. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
love our company.
Yeah.
yeah,
Warm
me
and
too.
fuzzies.
Yeah.
So we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, come watch a show or something.
All right, thank you.